Mike Gill and Qrash. We're
Hi,
back.
we're back.
They've been moving fast, these little monsters.
Yeah, they are. I
In
can't keep
fact,
up. I can't. My mind, my brain hurts.
and I'll tell you this, in 19 years of living in the world of Spidem, right? I've seen it all as far as the movements and where they were going and how they were trying to cover it up. But I can tell you, never in 19 years has there been such mystery now of moves covering up. I mean, think about it. All these audits, what did we always say? Audit who audits? Who wanted to give us 50 million? The IRS, the Treasury, the banking department, the banking commission, the Department of everything that audits. We're here. What did I tell you? The DOJ? We're going after the DOJ. Auditing the IRS and the Treasury. If you remember, it was Juan who stopped me from going after the Treasury and the IRS with an audit and a lawsuit that was on Nino. So
Right?
what
Yeah.
I'm
You guys have a show on that, right? There was because
yes, there's
I
a
was
show.
trying to find that. What he did was he shut you down when you said, "I won't take their money that were offering, but we got to go after the IRS." And then Juan said, "No, no, no." Is that how?
You need that money. You want that money. It
Yeah,
was part of the payoff.
part of
I
the payoff.
always knew, and that's when I talked to you before, Crash, about Titka. The way in is the way out.
Right.
They knew where the money was coming from. And what I said on a contingency basis, not 20%, not 30%, you can take every penny. No one can turn around and say, listen, that's why having 400 million and being famous and putting everything, I had no motivation other than the truth.
Right.
And you know something? In all these years, and what we've seen on the video is the truth. And it was the evidence that I have is where I was intercepted by O'Keefe with Aaron Day, Project Veritas. But then it was Flynn and the Department of Justice, U.S. Attorney Lullen. All these people are in place. They have the evidence. These are the truths, and everything that are moving the way that we said to move it. What they're doing structurally by these audits and these firings is breaking it up from within structurally and removing the cancer that is the Department of Justice and the FBI. But then the question, and what our point today is, it's the false picture that they're painting right now. Now, I understand that there's negotiations and plans and maneuvering. I get it. But they've owed the American people to be a little bit more forthcoming.
A little more transparency, like Kash has been saying.
We want everyone to tell you the truth. That's why everything that I've told you has been the truth because I guess I just said it to Crash, I think
Yeah.
was I'll give you the quick scenario I gave Crash because it put it in my head. My father was an old soldier, and we went to the movie Platoon. And they started my father sitting next to me, just me and my father, and he started opening the container with the maps, and it blows up. My father started screaming, "You know that's a booby trap. This is stupid. You can't. The soldiers know." And they all started booing my dad. But then he turns around, and about 20 minutes later, they have a World War II truck in the scene. My father goes, "That's from World War II. That's not a Vietnam truck. This whole thing is bullshit." My father stands up. He goes, "We got to go." The whole movie theater claps and cheers, and we got to leave.
Your
And
poor
what my
dad.
and what my father told me was, if one thing's a lie, it's all bullshit. And that's it. He
I'm
won't
taught you
accept the
that.
bullshit. So now you understand my patience with Juan and some of these podcasters. I mean, I don't have the patience, maybe as much as my father. It's all bullshit. So let's give you the false picture they're giving you. Let's make this an equation. And here are the denominators, right? We've got Flynn, we've got a result, and whatever this part of the equation that made that a result. Okay, so the result is President Trump went on a fanny kissing tour, lined up our boy General Flynn, gave him a kiss on the hiney, And of all heinies, Mike Lindell, you
Yeah,
know, he gave him a kiss the other day.
that was at
Now,
CPAC. The Mike Lindell, I don't know if a lot of people saw it. So the first one was at Mar-a-Lago with Flynn, and this one was at CPAC with Lindell.
I remembered the moment because if I remember right, I think I screamed. So, and a moment again, it's how he does it. Hey, do you notice all these assholes don't have a job? Right?
Right.
Except for Patel, and we're going to get back to him. In fact, Rudy's in trouble. I mean, they're looking for his watches, and no problem. Forget about it. Bannon, he's good too. Everybody's good. Tina Peters, and he's second now.
Yeah, we're waiting on that.
Right. Everybody takes a walk, but no one gets a job. Interesting.
Except in the media.
Right. I know before we get it, understand this thing with Flynn. Let's see what we have here. All right, let's go to our Flynn points. Have we all lost our minds? Or did we not witness Flynn for the last 5 years? My introduction was only December 18th, 2020, when he reached out from the Oval Office. And let's think about Flynn. At that point, I want you to consider that December 18th as the very day of implementation, the day that Jack Smith calls out, the day that Jack Smith says, I own your lawyers, President Trump, from December 18th. I don't know who tried to have him sign an insurrection lawsuit. Oh, that right, Sidney Powell. Who brought him? That would be General Flynn and that moron Patrick Burns. So think about this. You know what they did, boys and girls? They gathered the evidence in Arizona that why you can't hear the tape. That's Flynn. That's Tina Peters in Colorado, still corrupting an audit. That's Flynn. Then you remember that tape with Michigan when Patrick Burns was questioned about the audit at Michigan, said, oh, well, we didn't have much time. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And what did they do? They ran over to Lynn Wood's house and go, hey, can you help us put it together? Boom, boom, boom. And then they
Yeah.
drove over
And
to
then
the Oval Office with
Lynn,
our boy Lindell selling pillows out front.
yeah, right. And Lynn recorded it all and then separated them from them all.
Well, they all recorded it. Guess
Well,
what? They
maybe.
recorded the meeting. Lynn Wood recorded it. So why are they all recording it? Because they know what they're doing was the insurrection plot, and they were afraid to get blamed with it. Because nobody in that game can trust one another, which is why everybody's got a recording.
Right.
But I guess that didn't happen. I've got those text messages in the 3 weeks after that. That's Flynn. That didn't happen? Oh, well, wait a minute. Didn't Flynn's podcasters, the one he tried to get a reach away from, was selling you? Raiklen was on Alex Jones saying that it would be great. They used the word great, Alex Jones, if Trump was assassinated.
Yeah.
Raiklen, we would have a better choice in Flynn. Had we all just lost our memories? Can you say such a thing and beyond the team when the team just tried to
Murder.
take your ass out?
Right.
And let's not forget, that was before the assassinations.
Yeah.
They were soon to follow. What did I try to tell you? I said, we've got to be concerned about the assassination. And we got to watch those guys who have motive. But my point being, Flynn, and Flynn again. Now, these things with Wands and Ninos and Jacos and all these other stuff. We're going to get into what connects them in a second. Have you forgot about the reptilians? I mean, the warlords, the shapeshifters, the complete utter bullshit, the JFK Jr. These people were frauds. Now here's the question, Freddie. Now with Flynn, do they leave them in place as they're selling you gold and so forth? Listen, so again, Flynn equation. That's who Flynn is. That's what they did with J6. That's all the thing with the insurrection. And listen, they were going to use Flynn and Powell, remember? Jack Smith, I own your lawyers. They were going to use Flynn and Powell. Remember Flynn, 8 subpoenas. And tell you what happened there. When they dropped the case with Trump because Trump won, the plan changed. The plan was to bury. So whatever was in Jack Smith, whoever his witnesses were going to bury the president. Unless you think the courts were going to let him go if President Trump lost, really? They worked years in the motion, in the process of bringing us here. Now, what is President Trump doing? What did he do? Arrest the 12 U.S. attorneys, arrest or fire the U.S. attorneys working with Jack Smith in the prosecution, then went over and fired the U.S. prosecutors across this country? You don't think he knew they were in on it? He just fired everybody that was from the Department of Justice side. See
Right.
you
Well,
later.
my problem is fired is not arrested. Jack
You
Smith
fire them first. You fire them
I
first,
know, but
and then you turn them, and you turn them against one another. And do you know who does these immunity deals and do the turnings?
the
Those same
DOJ.
U.S. prosecutors. You're turning the bastards that leverage you. They're the ones that reach out immunity. That's U.S. Attorney Lullen, a star witness. So let's go back now. Pillars of truth. Let's go back to the equation of Flynn. We're getting a pretty good idea who Flynn was. Now, if Trump doesn't know about the insurrection plan, he didn't just take out every part of the DOJ that was on that side of it. They just got fired. And from there, I guarantee you an investigation. So our man Flynn was taking instructions from them, and they're fired. There's the
Yeah, now
separation.
what? Yeah,
Wow. Well,
now what?
here's the question. I've got alternatives thing. So on the appearance of it is President Trump is letting Flynn walk and Lindell. Now, the question is now, do they let these predators go into a green light now, selling you gold and selling you lies and misinformation and health and all this stuff? They keep on predators. They turn the predators loose with a green light. Well, let's think about this. I mean, me and Qrash have been talking about this quite a bit, and she's done some research on the gold angle. And the thing with the gold, now, ready? Well, the point being now, if this is a Qrash, let's finish the equation.
Yeah.
Flynn, the equation, the result is a kiss in the hiney. The other part of the equation that only this makes sense is a deal. That's right, boys and girls. The bad word, the deal.
And what about Kash?
But they're in the Ukraine. They're talking with Russia. They're negotiating for a deal. Now, a deal might be a form of compromise. Do you know what my position is? And we'll get into Qrash too. Is you don't compromise with that kind of evil. There's certain things you can compromise with. There's things that you can't. And that's why I've stayed on this track. That's why I didn't make any deals. None of these people had said anything bad about me. Elvire making the movie, the whole thing, one of the most important men of our time. Juan, the closer. In fact, what triggered it was someone turned around yesterday and commented about Juan saying he never said anything bad about me. They never have. They told me I was a patriot. They told me, and you know something? Michelle Moore, she was that last lifeline, but she was one of them. And telling everything my move. She was the last mole. But my point being is, why would I cut those ties off that was helping me, supporting me, telling you I was a hero, telling you I was making a movie? Tell me logically why I would do that. If that I never broke the faith with you, no matter what, even if they gave me a job, bought me off, gave me my money back, I've held it this way. I've gone 19 years. You think I'm going to break the faith now that I kept my 400 million and taken their million and had a golden parachute wherever I was? So the equation is this deal. Then you got to
Remember
walk.
the fight. I remember the fight when you started calling out people. They're like, "Why are you doing that?" And because they're like, they're talking good about you, but you're like, "Well, I know who this person is." you had to tell the truth. You had to say what you
Right.
saw, regardless of what they were saying. If I saw it all happen.
Santelli was good to me, calling me weaponization, trying to help me, the whole
Yeah,
thing. Jaco helped me, gave me $500, I think he sent me. I mean, listen, I've never not wanted the help. I needed the help. I never not wanted to believe them. I did. The problem wanting to believe something to be true is how you get lied to. Is
right.
how you're getting lied to and how we're getting lied to. As good as I am, and I've been trained to do this for a long time, and I was no schlep before, Michelle fooled me.
Yeah. And now,
And
speaking of
that's
lying,
dangerous.
or not so much lying, but Kash, add him in here. Now,
Right.
I had a lot of questions for Mike, so sorry.
All right. So we'll get into this thing with Kash now. Ready? Now let's look
So
at Kash
we
now.
have
We know
Flynn
that,
and the podcasters, and now
right.
Kash.
I'm going to go from, right. So the
Okay.
thing with Kash. So it's, what's going, I'll throw this thing in with Kash and my thought, but with the alternative part of this with the podcasters. If I was concerned about the podcasters, can Trump allow these people to prey on the people who gave over their retirements and so forth that they believe them because they supported President Trump? They even gave them the impression that they had inside information in supporting them. What I would say this then, the gold that Qrash is going to get into is the commonality with these podcasters. When you see these podcasters and you see like these fills, they have these mansions and sports cars and buses and so forth. That's not so much donations as much as gold. And that's the retirements and so forth, right? So let's take a look at Patel. You know what Patel's in danger for? His connection with Flynn, Nino, the podcasting world. Remember now? Well, let's take a look at this. Does he not know those people? Does he not know that they're selling gold? How about
Yeah.
this? Show that Elvire post, Qrash. Now remember, Elvire, who works for Flynn, I have on text that I believe CIA, right? The whole J16 that's connected to Ketchel, Gristle. I have a hard time reading that, Qrash. Okay, all right. You want to know who is a grifter? Anyone selling gold, period. These, I can't remember, the truthers ignore the fact that they are affiliated for and unregulated metal companies. All right, so 50 to 60% of people's life savings. All right, you don't see anything wrong with it. Okay, so that's how Veer's saying that these gold companies, 50, 60%. Why don't
Unregulated.
we know that now? What I would say to Kash Patel, if we're going to play the Flynn pretend game, that's a serious problem for Kash Patel. And you know something? Just in case you people, these podcasters now think they're protected, that their Flynn's protected, Lynn got a kiss, and their guy Patel is in as the director of
FBI.
the FBI. Now you get pressure on Patel. If you remember now, let's take it back. Let's use this as an alternative. When he was in the hearings, the Patel was asked a question about Stu Peters. And what he said, I guess, is that he doesn't remember Stu Peters. And we all know thereafter there was 8 times he was on Stu Peters' shows. And he was on Nino's show and the whole kit and caboodle of the Flynn podcasters. So we know the director of the FBI knows who these people are. Now, if I'm the
Right.
director of the FBI, Flynn's flying high, right? Protected. But what if this idea was not that I said before, the 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 general contagion, the size of it, the big picture, as Elon Musk put it? We might lose confidence in our FBI, DOJ. Now we've lost that, but we may not have any of them because they're all corrupt or complicit, which is what I've been saying for years. But they're doing it in a structural manner. But they let Flynn go, so he's off and running. What if part of that structural manner was that we don't want Flynn to make contagious to the DOJ pushing the insurrection plan? So if you've got to get Flynn, or at the very least, the deal that they made is with the podcasters, how would you go? Oh, I don't know. I might go through the gold route and turn around and start looking at all the people they ripped off. Let's see who's responsible. Let's find out their license. That might be get them all. Oh, wait a minute now. I've got another sign for all you podcasters that aren't scared enough. When Kash was asked that question, he didn't remember. Do you know what? Those liberals, those Democrats in that kind of a tight race never said perjury. Wait a
Right.
minute.
That's what I was questioning.
Why perjury? You know what's not perjury when you're under oath like that? When it's under an investigation.
Uh-huh.
I forgot. That's right. I don't recall. Hello. You think the
Right.
director forgot 8 times? No. So you know what it signals to me? Investigation. Oh, you know those gold ads on Rumble? There used to be every second line. Second line, I know, I watch. Pop, pop, pop. They disappeared. Did you know that about 3 months ago? Gone. You
Yeah.
don't think there's an investigation about the gold? You don't think that he got away with what they would have considered perjury and threw him off, disqualified him? Oh, no, no, no. You're the guy. That has to be an investigation. And we're telling to the podcasters, hey, listen, if I'm Patel, I get out of this. Hey, I didn't know what they were doing. I found this out.
And at one
I
point
was
they weren't making.
investigating.
At one point, Rumble wasn't paying people. I heard last summer, I guess. I don't know if you know anything about that, but
100%. Michelle would complain she wasn't getting paid for months and months and months. And you know what I told her? What I'm telling you guys now, too, which fits right into the glove. That if they're investigating Rumble tied to the gold, you know what they would do with those payments? They would freeze them. So some of these podcasters that I know, one like Shell, didn't get paid for months and months and months. You know what I told her? Investigation. Well, hello. All of a sudden now we've got the director of the FBI forget about 8 visits to a show there. We've got the gold angle being the common denominator. Even Elvire, one of the corruptest son of a bitches among them, the CIA's telling you that's who they are. Okay, Qrash, want to go over a couple of the things that you found about our gold diggers?
sure. I'm just gold diggers. I'm just going to show you a couple screenshots here of Mike had one here. I want to put mine up then.
Yeah.
So it takes me a minute to click them in here. Now, I'm sure we all know, but Mike Lindell, I mean, you can talk about Mike Lindell if you want to. He's Goldco, but this I found interesting because this is a blatant it's totally misleading. He's telling you your money's safe with physical gold, which is true. That's true. However, Goldco is not physical gold. Why is that? That's a complete misleading. These older people don't understand. They trust this man.
And where do they ever say prepayment penalties? Can someone show me one ad, one of these pinheads, have a prepayment penalty?
They don't. So I didn't like that. But here's a couple of gold people that we see selling gold. And if you don't know, Dr. Kirk Elliott is a big player in a lot of these podcasters. And I made a video yesterday. I think people need to go to the bigger accounts, Rumble channels, and you go into the description and you see everything that they're selling and the things that are stacked on there. We got Dr. Kirk Elliott with Scott McKay, the Patriot Street Fighter. We have now Mel K. She's got some other man. I didn't look into him yet. We have Patriot Underground, which is Goldco, and then Jayco, which is also Kirk Elliott. Santa Surfing, I got in trouble with her because I called her a PAY trade. She's with Goldco. I mean, all these people. Michelle got her man. Not sure. I looked into him. There was some problems with the company, but I don't find a whole lot with him. We got the MG show. They're with Dr. Kirk Elliott. And I don't know if everybody knows this, but we got Dave Snedeker. he's selling gold, silver as well. And now he's 7K metals. That's another MLM. And I don't like any of those kind of schemes. I just don't. So those are the people I just want to show that we have a few out there and a lot more that are selling gold and IRAs. And
Well, see, here's the thing. Remember, I got into this because they were cheating the elderly out of their homes. That was that
right,
FRM Ponzi
FRM,
scheme.
yeah,
Again, elderly people with their retirements and stealing them at the end of their lives. These people didn't have money. Several of them committed suicides if you go back to those videos of those people. But that's what it preying on these people who worked their whole lives, had their retirements, using that money to survive with for the years that they have left. To steal that is to steal their dignity.
right.
That cannot happen. That's the line, one of the lines. I have a few lines when it comes to these children and kicking out these cartels. You don't negotiate with them. But when it comes to these predators that are taking these life savings of these people, and when you're being warned by one of them, now let's think about this. Ready? They are now saying that Trump and Elon's got to go and
Audit.
audit Fort Knox to find out if our gold's there. And you're trusting these pinheads that they're having the depository that they're holding all your shit?
My
Really?
problem is with Rumble, the connection with gold and Rumble is huge.
No kidding.
It's
The
huge.
negotiating the gold deals go through Rumble. Michelle was the quote from Rumble was to Michelle, who told me that Rumble made more millionaires out of gold.
Right.
Rumble and gold. That's Phil Gillespie or whatever his ass's name, right? That's these men. Think about this now. Listen, I didn't do stock trading, but I bought a lot of stocks and so forth. There's little to no commission in gold and silver. So, in other words, if you're a metals trader, for you to even make a decent living, you've
Right.
got to sell volume. Now, the thing here is for them to get houses and sports cars, how you make that money is in the prepayment penalty. I was in the mortgage business. I would not sell prepayment penalties loans for years because what they'll do is that they'll trap you into taking property and stealing. It's the same way here. They know somebody's 70 years old. If they put their retirement, what were they going to use to live on, into this? Say they put 80%, 75%, but they run through that money. They don't understand, with inflation and the cost of things. And if for them to get it now to get their money again is a prepayment penalty, they lose 50 to 60%. Are you kidding me? What was the waste of the cost of the person? Why was it necessary for a prepayment penalty?
Right.
See, in other words, there is nothing that says that. It's a scam out of the gate. And you know who they hide behind? Your belief. You know what these predators do? They sell you on religion. They sell you on faith. They sell you on, you know what? You said it before last night, Qrash. You said there's one of every one of them. Like they put the Michelle like in faith. They put
Oh yeah. I said,
Nino, the
yeah.
boxer, the sporty guy. This is the CIA guy. That's the stripper. That's the rapper. That's the country music. It was staged.
Right.
Even the personas. It was created. So I'm saying to President Trump, now I'm hoping that alternative plan we're seeing is a way to root these people out, take them out without maybe what the question being incriminating the Department of Justice. But is someone sitting there behind this plan going, it's not good for this country to lose faith completely in the Department of Justice. Maybe we take everything over and it's not just the part, it's the Treasury, it's the IRS. It's the means of this country running. We are at a critical time in history when you are waking up and every day hereafter, you're going to get an understanding of the depth of this corruption. For instance, did we just not find out when we're saying, hey, 55 billion? You know what they came up with yesterday? They're missing 5 trillion. So remember what I said, not millions, not billions,
Brilliant. Yeah.
trillions, and I know where they are, right? They're right over here. Remember, Pandora Papers put $1 trillion on top of your trillion, and suddenly we're missing 5 trillion. That 5 trillion is going to go up and up and up. Like you owe 36 trillion, you're going to find out they stole it. And it isn't the fat that they're auditing next. Next, you've got to audit what they stole and find out where it is. These are the people that bought the jobs, that protect the auditing, that protect the cartels and the traffickers and the foreign governments. That's how they get a job. You get a job, you turn them. But next thing you do, you audit for corruption. How about this? Audit General Flynn.
Yeah.
Audit his LLCs. We want to know where all that money on the bus tour went.
Right.
Someone sent me $5. It went to a sandwich.
I wanted to say something about the gold real quick.
Yeah.
I didn't add it in there. We were talking about, let's say, this is hypothetical, but let's say the markets crash, the banks are closed, there's a fiat money problem, and people want to get their gold and silver. And let's say 100,000 people go to one depository. What are the chances that that depository is going to have it all? It's not.
You know what? It's happened before. Runs on banks and they run out of money and don't have it, and everybody's screwed.
Right.
You know what you're going to find out? You're going to find out that these assholes are somewhere on an island with Juan.
Right.
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 Who's going to chase them? They will think about. See, this is the danger of what I'm talking about. These criminals know they're working for the feds. They're working for Flynn. They're working for the CIA. They're protecting you. Get me, I'll bury you. I'm selling your bullshit. Listen, I'm going to bury them with gold. We're going to steal their retirement. We're going to sell them this bullshit and that bullshit and that bullshit, right? But as long as we're selling you misinformation, we're protected. Remember Barry Seal from the Fast and the Furious? The CIA was having him fly over with the Contras and Fast and Furious with the guns and the Contras.
Yeah.
They had Barry Seal. Barry said, I'm working for the CIA. And the CIA go, who are you again? What do you think they're going to do to Nino?
Yeah.
Jaco, we never saw you before. You know what the funniest thing? Quinn's already been practicing. Remember when he was saying on PPN, who are those people on podcasters? Right. They're all crazy. And then we get KFC, the same guy who called for my execution with Pascal. So, right after I called him out about Trump opening the border and commander-in-chief and killing 7-8 million to teach us a lesson. But they forgot that too. And he calls himself on the Flynn team.
Yeah.
So, you know what? In the world of spydom, do you remember what Kerry Cassidy said, that Flynn was a double agent? Yeah. You can't trust any of them. And all you can do know for sure, they will cut your throat to save their own.
Right.
That is their license. Save your ass. So this is getting interesting. So now, if they backdoor and sweep them out that way, I'm good with that. Remember? The art of the deal. We're cool as long as it gets us to the equation that you remove these predators. Right. It's too important to start hearing the truth. Understand Flynn, but in the CIA and the media in general, what they've done to us. By these lying and by them working for these elements that were destroying and stealing this country. You see the importance of that. You control the word. That's why did you see how now Lindell's moving media and Flynn's in the media and these
Rudy
podcasts.
Giuliani, and I mean they all are, and accounts are growing on X. They're growing in followers really quick, and
it's ready to blow. The normalcy of the world is going to enter into this Patriot network, and they're going to try to mainstream it. But they don't forget what they did to you. Don't forget what they were saying, and they were lying the whole time. Are you going to turn? That's why they're also suddenly someone showing their face. They're toning down their rhetoric. We're seeing less goblins. Well,
here's I want to say something. Okay, let's say we're a normal podcaster. You call this a podcast, but this is just you talking about what your thoughts are. Let's say we're the MG show or whoever. Where are they getting their stuff? The mainstream media. And what we see, where's Twitter getting their stuff? The mainstream media. I mean, yeah,
They're bridging.
there's people that have actual access to Trump's, Mar-a-Lago and all that. They got videos, but
Reno's been on Fox. They're bridging.
that's what
They're
I'm saying.
trying to make themselves look, I'm going to say normal. Good luck with
Well, I
that.
don't know. Yeah, I mean, like,
But
every show,
credible, credible.
right? Jeffrey Peterson was just on CNN, and I'm saying, if these podcasters want to tell us something that they don't have any, I mean, intel, if you want to call it that, they don't have anything to give people except for what they're getting from someone else. That's where I'm
Well,
like,
and,
well,
and then they won't tell you where they got it from, like it's some secret source.
maybe
And
it's
what
AI.
secret source is going to talk to these strippers?
Well, yeah,
Really?
maybe
In
it's
fact, if they
AI.
are talking, then they're leaking evidence, and then Trump should have them arrested.
Right.
Right? It's horseshit. But that was Flynn again. Now
Yeah.
we're going to turn around. And you know something? If you release Flynn into this with those podcasters and so forth, and influencers too,
Right.
even the ones that, and listen, all this bullshit, they don't like Flynn, it's horse shit. Keep watching them. They'll tone it down. They'll start shifting. They'll start changing. Oh, shut up. Remember, it was one group.
Yeah.
Stacey Burke said 98%
No.
CIA. How about
Just
Shelby Bush? You're
yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I
Uh,
just like to keep the facts straight.
yeah, yeah. That's a good idea. Julian Assange. I told you 98% of
Yeah.
Washington was corrupt. What did I tell you? I have two senators part of the cartel. I got a congressman, been 2 generations in the cartel. You think you might get a problem? I'm running around audit. And I've gone around with 50 million saying, hey, shut up. Horse
Yeah.
racing wants to pay me 25 million. Liberty wants to pay me 50 million. And here we are. And they're all coming our way. I don't care. See, I don't care what you see. You see, maybe, oh, we're not going to get a lot of views. Bullshit. We've got an empire watching us. The rule that they have, never let them know you're watching. Never know you let them bothered by it. But I've played this game too long. I know they're shitting themselves. Think about General Flynn to go forwards. I'm more dangerous now than I ever was. I've got Flynn's bullshit. Then that might then translate to the deal. That might embarrass Trump a little bit, letting that shithead go, which I'm
Right.
telling you means to me, they know that too. So they're going to work a back angle fast. So this thing with gold may be coming around the corner. I
I
think
hope
a lot of things were on hold with
because
until Patel. His
right.
people in place, but the director of the FBI, bang. I think right now, then it's got to be systems go, and you don't screw around. That's why things are happening fast. That's exactly how you have it happen. But this exposure with Flynn, it'd be dangerous to President Trump, would be dangerous to Kash Patel. And if you're going this way, taking him out another way, fine. But if you don't, then I'm not sure what you traded was worth that.
Right.
And you know what? Like I said, you don't deal with evil. This isn't corruption. Corruption, you make a deal. Listen, these people make courts with like mafia figures, like Sammy the Bull Gravano. I don't know, he killed 19 people. They made a deal with him. And they're going to make those kind of deals with these people. But this kind of thing with like cartels, but corrupted election turned around and set a country against one another. How is there any time in history that Republicans and Democrats that we've ever been that divided? The media did that.
Right.
That's CNN, that's Fox, and they're owned by the same people. That's the same thing with Republicans and Democrats. It's Democrats, they stole, they stole. Shut up. You hear any one of them turn each other in? You forget that Romney was over in the Ukraine too, right beside Hunter Biden and Kerry's children.
Yeah.
And now we're hearing we're going to audit them finally. How did they make, they get, 170 or 270 and get 90 million? Why are we asking that now finally? But here's this. I guarantee you, whatever they show you, 10
It,
times, 20
yeah.
times, 100 times more.
Right. That's what
Remember
that's
those trillions that are missing? Who do you think stole them? They did. So when I told you the only path and everything else is bullshit was finding their money, what do you think? Everything that they're doing to uncover corruption right now is predicated on finding money now, isn't it? Audit, audit, audit. That was it. That's the path. You get Dickie Enigos, the cartel, they look at his arrest records, then you start
Yeah.
quoting all their companies, and you start pulling a trillion back. But you're going to find out the head of the cartels running hospitals and treatment centers, which is exactly what they're doing, which you find in Medicaid fraud, which is why the audit, which is exactly how I came and got them through Medicaid fraud. So just when they stumble on that 10 years later, just so you know, and thank God it's still on videos. And the
Yeah.
mystery with them is it's still on YouTube. So ask
Yeah.
yourself, when the world wants to take it down, and nobody had more enemies than I have. And you know something, we may have them again. And I never gave a shit. And you know what? All those people that were nice to me, and they were for a reason. And I didn't sell out. And you've got to ask yourself why that I didn't, even with Michelle, even with this. It's because look where we are now. We got a shot.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we're just seeing it. And it is a bigger plan. And this thing with the Ukraine, with Trump, with Zelensky, audit Zelensky.
Yeah.
Has he
Anyway.
got a mansion in Miami? Where did he get that money from? Audit the money we sent over to the Ukraine. Let's find out. Let's find out the equipment's there. You're going to find out that the Ukraine was the money center partnered with New Hampshire with this country. Those politicians came to protection because they were representing their laundering network and their secrets, their darker secrets, including the human trafficking. Whatever you think about Putin, Putin was fighting evil here. If he's evil, I'm not going to make that thing. I'm telling you this. We know those people were. We know that Ukraine was filthy,
Right. That's what I think. Yeah. Putin was fighting evil.
and we're not eliminating Israel either.
Oh
I
no.
mean,
They're behind
this
it all.
right. Listen, it's follow the money, and I hate even saying it, but here it is, and then find me in the laundry. It's all about money. That's what it is. Money and power. Power gets you money. The people with money buys the power.
Yeah.
The people turn around and would have cartels and traffickers buy the insurance. That's what I found. The DOJ, the government, they sell insurance and they steal. They control and rule our government. Ready? By jobs. Do you know the largest voting bloc in the United States is our state and federal government? If they know those entities are corrupt, and that whether it be Democrats or Republican, that entity, they will vote for the corrupt entity. That's how the cartel controlled the state of New Hampshire. That's why Clintons and the Shaheens, the Clintons and the Bushes set up this crime organization there. You're going to find out, didn't we just read about Haiti? That all the billions that were sent there, that only 3% went to the people? You
I
know who
didn't
was
see
running
that yet.
that?
I
I
didn't. Yeah.
just saw it today. That was Clinton's.
Yeah.
That's evergreen.
Yeah.
That might just be Brummel. That might just take us
And
back to
Hummel and Flynn.
Flynn, General Flynn.
Yeah.
My problem is we might just be dealing with the Antichrist.
Yeah.
All right.
All of it's Antichrist.
Well,
Anything
I'd
against
start
Christ.
with him
Yeah. And
because if you're trafficking children, and
Flynn.
now he's the one going to save all the children. Isn't it a bitch? The ones that are going to save the children, even that movie, right? Did we find out that guy, was it Ballard?
Oh
Now,
yeah, Ballard. Yeah.
I mean, we celebrated his ass saving children. Who have they saved? Hey, next time a family court, I'll take one of you assholes. You know this thing with Sununu Youth Detention Center? No one knew about that. I was
No.
telling you how they were filling that and that you were paying for it, right? Title 4D money. Right. They were taking it out of your Social Security. What are they saying? Social Security's going broke and they're auditing it because you're paying for child support and alimony matching funds. You know who gets paid? The judge, the bailiff, the lawyers. And you go broke, the home is split up, and they take your kids for profit. They put them in a detention center where they're beaten and raped. How's that? And it's called the Sununu Youth Detention Center.
And he's getting busted. I mean, not him, but the
Only 1,100 victims.
Yeah.
And you know, covered up the same AG Kelly Ayotte, the
Yeah.
same governor who carried it, covering up the Pandora's box, the laundering network, and the drug cartel. Again, they're looking for themselves.
It's sick
All right.
what people do for money. It's just sick. What people do for money is sick. I know he can't hear me, so that's why I'm yelling. So
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
mean, but so let's keep our eye on let's watch Gold, by the way.
Yeah, we're watching gold.
And let's see this thing about Flynn.
We
Now
didn't hear
listen.
from that audit. I mean, what did that's still in progress, right? With Trump and Fort Knox. That I didn't hear.
Oh, they all yeah, right, they are. So what happens? How about this? You ready? About these gold companies, depositories that you're supposed to trust. If I was to ask you how many people out there, what percentage of people would turn around and say that all the gold is intact in Fort Knox, or would what percentage would say we're going to be missing some?
I don't know.
I'm voting for we're missing a shitload. That's
I
my
know
vote.
that's because you know. I mean, like we kind of know there's people out there that are totally blind
Well,
to.
how about this? If you question that, if how about this? My point is, if you question Fort Knox,
Yeah,
you, you're questioning JoJo the idiot's gold
right,
depository.
right.
Patriot Underground Gold Depository.
But
Hey,
until
they
they
don't tell
question.
you their name, but they got your gold.
Yeah, exactly. Until
Don't
Trump questioned it, these people aren't now they're thinking. Now they're going, oh, what does he mean? The people that didn't know. So now they're like, wait a minute.
just remember, and I've seen it, and I'm telling you it's going to happen. And you can go back to other videos, and I said it. The size of this corruption is what protects it. The size is what's going to bring it down.
Right.
You see all these layoffs, you see all these people, see the size is starting to come down. The size will all of a sudden whistleblower, whistleblower. They did this, they did this. That's what you're seeing now. This is the progression of it. This is that snowball coming down the mountain to the point where they can't stop it. We are at a point where they can't stop it, but they gotta keep it rolling. You don't find them, you don't lay them off. You find their money, you find it clean it for you get them all. You get the judges. Where are they all trying to stop us now and hold us back in those courts? Remember,
Yeah.
I said the last line of defense are those judges. You never win if you get those judges. How they try to take out Trump? Those judges. How many of us we're all victims of? You know how they would take out Elon Musk? By a single judge,
Right.
a single verdict. Whether the verdict would be your money or whether your verdict could be your freedom or both. Weren't they doing exactly that to Trump? So if that's the most powerful person in the world, you just looked at the element that almost took him out between the brokered convention, between the courts, between 2 to 3 assassinations. That was someone pretty determined to take you out. Don't forget about the J6 committee and how long that they did it. 4 years. How many people went to jail? How many people were persecuted for something that they knew that they set up? That's blood money. Those are things that I have a hard time saying, accepting, I'm sorry.
Right. Yep.
All right, we'll keep watching. But listen, they're giving you a false impression, a false face. Now, President Trump running the country turns around and says, if this is a backdoor rule with the gold company and this thing with Patel and I forgot he, which we know he didn't, which he got away with, might mean investigation, I would might have a different look at how they're taking this out.
Right.
But if that stays, then I say we got betrayed.
Guess we got to wait and see. I'm hoping for
Right.
the best.
We are. But I'm prepared for the worst because the worst is usually what you get.
Yeah.
Whatever you think it is, listen, when I've been wrong, I didn't estimate the depth of this evil. It's taken me years to figure this out. See, here's the element. You have to believe them to be able to see them. You have to know who they are and how they think. That's how I learned to maneuver ahead of them. That's how I learned to do it because I've been engaged with them every minute for years and years.
Right.
And I've seen the power of this, how they took over friends and family and people around me. I had a couple of thousand people that work for me in a couple of different industries. This is the power that we're up against. I think we had a conversation yesterday. Well, how do they do this? And how do they keep this one quiet? How do they keep that one
Yeah.
quiet?
Yeah.
Never forget the power of who they are. This
Right.
is the DOJ. This is the FBI. This is the. Think about this, right? The one who wanted to pay me 50 million, and I'll leave you with this. Who went after me? The FBI, the DOJ, the banking department, the banking commission. Oh, meaning the IRS, the Department of Revenue. You see what I'm saying? All the government agencies targeted me. The power of this deep state and this government was upon me.
Right.
And I told them to go fuck themselves, take my money. Then they wanted to pay me 50 million. So they picked the wrong guy. But the point being is, you see how they operate. And this is why you don't have whistleblowers, because they will not stand up and survive. As much as I hope to be an example of standing up, I became more of an example of what happens to you if you do. And
Right.
trust me, they've used it. Remember that guy? Remember how tough he was? Remember I said, well, look at him now. He's homeless. And you know what I say? And they put it up on signs. I've shared them. Game ain't over. The fat lady hasn't sung. I'm still in the game, and I was going to get your ass anyway. In horse racing, you know what they call it? A closer. That's a guy who falls way behind. But at the end, he starts coming and coming. And we'll see who catches who at the wire.
Yeah.
Okay, Qrash.
All right. See ya.
Bye.